Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and welcome to my playing series where I play live for YouTube without the benefit of cherry-picking games, and I want to move the series on to playing the rarest tanks inside the game. Now I'm going to start the gameplay at tier 4, but a few of you might be interested in what is the rarest at tier 1, 2 and 3. So just quickly, the medium one at tier 1, and the reason for that is because this is the only one of the vehicles that is a collector's tank at tier 1, so nobody actually has to play the medium one to be able to advance up the British tech tree. You actually have to play the cruiser one instead. For tier 2, it's actually the Panzer 38R, or 35R I should say. This is a loot box tank from, I believe, Christmas 2021. And the reason why no one's playing it is because it's just so slow. A really slow tank at tier 2, and there's far more enjoyable vehicles to play. And as far as I'm aware, it hasn't really been available for the last 4 or so years since the loot boxes. At tier 3, it's a similar story. The rarest vehicle is the Panzer M15. And that's rare because it was available inside, you guessed it, loot boxes at Christmas in 2022. And I just don't think it's really been around since, and it's also a pretty miserable vehicle statistically. An honorable mention should be made to the BTSV. That vehicle was actually in the collector's edition of World of Tanks, which was released, gosh, over a decade ago. But since its release, which was only in the CIS region originally, but you could still actually activate the codes on the European and North American accounts. So lots of people were importing the collector's edition to be able to do that. And then Wargaming decided to sell the BTSV if you bought €100 worth of gold or $100 worth of gold. But most people, to be honest, were probably buying that to get the BTSV rather than the actual gold that came with it. The BTSV, it's a half decent vehicle, but it's definitely power crept these days, considering it relies a lot on its angled armor to be able to deal with low penetration guns. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, without further ado, what is the rarest tank at tier 4? So it's the A32. Now, the A32 is a tier 4 Soviet medium tank, and the reason why this vehicle is so rare is because I believe it was in the original, should we say, how would we say it? Like Founders Edition of World of Tanks. So before the game was released in April 2011, if you decided to pony up and buy like $100 worth of gold pre-purchase before the game was released, then you got 3 vehicles. The first one was the Mutant, the M4A2E4, at tier 8 with its preferential matchmaking. That was incredibly rare in the game until they released it for April Fool's Day, would you believe it? The other vehicle was some kind of a Sherman at tier 5 that I can't really remember the name of. It wasn't the one that was for the closed beta invite, which is very rare at tier 5. And then actually no, it was the Panzer 4.5 Alpha, right? Or the 5.4 Alpha. That vehicle, again, Wargaming sold it in boxes. And then it was this one, the A32, which again, Wargaming sold it in boxes. So I think you're starting to see a pattern here of what Wargaming did with their original Founders tanks. Yes, made everyone pre-purchase the game, $100 or whatever people spent on it, and then they just ended up selling the vehicles anyway a few years later. That's the only way that I have these vehicles. I don't have these vehicles because I spent $100 in World of Tanks in 2011. I was a PhD student at that point. I didn't have any money to waste on a free-to-play video game, let alone one that I didn't think was going to be, honestly, that successful at the time. But here I am, 14 years later. I'm glad, I guess I was wrong. So, the A32, what is special about this vehicle? Well, it's kind of a little like a T-34 down at tier 4. And so if you take a tier 5 medium and you drop it down to tier 4, then immediately, you know, the vehicle's going to be a little bit special. It's got decent armor, 35mm of armor. Doesn't sound great, but because it's angled, that means that you can get auto ricochet angles against your opponents, which can be very funky indeed. And when you combine that with the vehicle's fairly pokey gun, it's got a fairly pokey gun with 1,600 damage per minute, then this thing is a little bit scary. So I'm just going to keep chilling in these bushes. That guy getting spotted clearly means that there's somebody who's getting some good vision here. Could be anything. Could be the BT7, for example. But I think I'll just chill here for a little while, see if I can try and keep the vision going. But watching this guy just getting absolutely nailed is making me realize that I really don't have many friends left. now. And at least I'm happy that he didn't push me there. Okay, so I'm actually going to turn around in this bush. And I'm gonna have to leave. I think this is gonna have to turn into a base defense / snipe, and me sitting there is just going to be ugly. I get spotted. The BT7 was exactly where and I'm double tracked, and that's just an absolute nightmare. But hopefully my repair crew's going to hold off. The BT7 might not spot me anymore because I think he was activating binoculars probably to be able to spot me from there. But he started moving, so he won't have good view range. Okay, I'm still getting nailed. That BT7 clearly is a decent player at tier 4. So we're gonna have to watch out for all of these happy little seal clubbers, right? So I think I'm going to make my way up into these bushes. I don't really want to block the M8A1. I think I should be able to just go here because I don't think he'll be able to spot for himself. So I don't think he'll mind me actually getting some vision. And hopefully I'll be able to spot them as they come around that corner with my binoculars here and then get the M8A1. Here we go. This is what we need. Good. That is some serious damage. Serious damage. Oh, the damage really adds up on this tank. One of the reasons why this vehicle is very strong at tier 4. And I'm going to have my work cut out for me in this game, actually. The M8A1. I'm going to turn my tracks just a little bit, so that means that I will be able to, like, get past the M8A1 if I need to fall back. There's that BT7. It's clearly not his first rodeo of World of Tanks. We've got the looks at the back. Can't really catch the looks at the back. I need to drop back, but I also need to try and get some shots in. I'm going to have to do like 1,000 damage if I want to be able to get rid of the enemy team here. Just hoping that I can still try and provide some vision and try and get these guys to make some mistakes as they come in. Still hoping that we can be able to thin the herd here a little bit. I think me still staying here hidden for as long as possible is going to be the play. I've still got some guns like the Lago and the T6 medium. And then if there's that T6 medium, we need to get that out. If we can get that guy out, then we won't have... Oh no, that's not good. Okay, I think it's maybe time to start blazing. I think if I just keep holding these guys here for a little bit. They've got an Su-76 at long range. Right now, I think there's no threat on me. The real dangerous tank is like the T6 mediums on the enemy team. They got those derpy guns and they're big threats. But to be fair, if the enemies start pushing through the valley, we're going to be in so much trouble right now. But I'm still hoping that we're going to see some mistakes. The valley's actually quite low on health, so that's some good news for me. I can't quite find the shot of that. I really want to get rid of this T6 medium. The BT7 gets spotted again. He's probably going to start to get very suspicious. I'm starting to lose tanks. I'm going to have to start to do the damage myself in a second. Come on. We've got our work cut out for us. I'm surprised this guy's not figuring out what bush I'm in. I'm going to have to start shooting. Okay, let's see if we can get this BT7 out here. Hopefully just crests up the ridge. Maybe he's going to do a hero run. Looks is going to start to push in a second. We've got people behind our people. Okay, it's time to... Oh, how did I miss that to start things off with? It's time to start blazing. Maybe I should have fired a little bit earlier here. There we go. Got to get this looks and hopefully not get nailed in the side by the heat rounds. Good. Oh, this is a whiffy gun, isn't it? Alright. I've got to double back and try and help out the Lago from the side. It's just me and a Lago now against the world. Let's get going. How can I deal with these guys? Do you think the PZSFL is just going to come around the corner? He is. That's great news for me. Hopefully he doesn't have the pen to deal with me. It's another one. He does have the pen, but he's down. Good. There's another tank dealt with. And another one. Hopefully these guys make some more mistakes. Gotta watch out for this Sav with his heat rounds here. Oh no. I gotta be aggressive here though, otherwise I'll never do this. Oh, I missed that shot. There's another one. One more on the Sav. Okay, another Sav, but I just lost all my hit points and now the T6 is going to come after me. Do you think he'll try and flank me or come from the front? I guess the answer's that, doesn't it? There's one shot onto him. Two shots onto him. Ow, no, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, guess this tank isn't quite good enough. 5 kills and 2,700 combined. What a shame. Maybe if I got just a little bit more lucky against that Sav M43, maybe we could have had the mother of all Kolobanov's medals there. Well, that was an exciting game to start off things with YouTube. And yeah, a nice ace tank, a high caliber, and also a patrol duty, would you believe it? Yeah, we gave that one a really good go. Clearly, they had some half-decent players playing their little light tanks. This guy's called Sorry But Not Sorry. Hee hee. That's cute. A lot of these people play a lot of low-tier tanks, although this guy actually loves his Panzer 1C. I guess he's sorry but not sorry. Hee hee. And then this M5A1 Stuart gave it a good go. And usually M5A1 Stuart players play a lot of M5A1 Stuart, but this wasn't the case. So, great start to playing the rarest tanks, the A32. What is the next rarest tank? Oh no, ladies and gentlemen, say it ain't so. Oh, it's the Grant. This is the British M3 Lee, and I'm not even sure if I've even played this tank that much on my account. I've played it a whopping 3 times, and I've won 1 game in it. This thing, absolutely horrendous. I'm going to quickly put my crew skills on. So the Grant is practically identical to an M3 Lee. This vehicle, it actually has really nice damage per minute, 2,200 damage per minute. And the only differences that this vehicle really has with the M3 Lee is it goes 1 kilometer an hour faster forwards, it has a little bit of extra hit points, and a little bit of better view range. So when you think about it, it's kind of just a better M3 Lee. Although, being better than an M3 Lee is really not saying very much. So I've got my work cut out for me. So a Grant, I'm going to be using binoculars, get myself some vents, going to be using the turbo as well, because this vehicle I don't believe can use a gun rammer, otherwise I would be using one for sure, with a tank with really good damage per minute and low alpha damage. Yeah, I've really got my work cut out for me. I think for the Grant, there'll be a couple of positions that I could use. One is kind of like sitting at the back here and hoping they poke there. Second will be just kind of like sit and play the traditional tank destroyer role. And that's because really this thing is just a traditional tank destroyer in a medium tank body. But if any of you are regulars on the channel, you'll know that tank destroyers are not really the most competitive tanks. Heavy tanks and medium tanks are vastly more competitive than tank destroyers, which is why hybrids of tank destroyers that really play like heavy tanks have really good win ratio differences. You'll have seen that recently if you saw my Minotauro video on playing the ultimate tank destroyer inside the game. So what this means is that if you're playing a medium tank that is actually played like a tank destroyer, that you're kind of having the reverse effect. Instead of turning a tank destroyer into a medium or heavy, you're turning a medium into a tank destroyer. And that is very low influence in the battle. Very low influence in the battle. One of the worst things about this tank as well is that you've got this huge turret on top with a gun that looks like it could actually possibly pass as a tier 4 gun, but it's just not used on the tank. And so let's say you crest a ridgeline, and considering this thing's got 9 degrees of gun depression, it's pretty good on a ridgeline. But your enemies have all of this time to be able to shoot you before you have the opportunity to get your gun on your opponents. So that is the biggest problem with the M3 Lee / the Grant in this case. Okay, so we've got the Skoda T24 right ahead. I'm hoping that I'll stay hidden with these bushes and maybe be able to get a shot at him. But remember, I've got this huge, awful turret on top of the vehicle, which is definitely not going to work out for me. Luckily, this guy does get exposed, and so we get our first shot of the game in. Hooray! Man, every time you pen a shot in an M3 Lee or a Grant, like a little celebration should be had. Wargaming should send someone to a house, pop a cork on a bottle, and yeah, do a little magical dance as well, because the amount of damage that an M3 Lee / Grant does is usually not very good. So we spotted that guy with our mini turret. And you can see that he's shooting at us, but we can't shoot him. And that is because of the horrible turret that's on top of this tank. But look at this DPM. Look at this DPM. I mean, I'm losing my hit points very rapidly, but so is he in a way. That's not bad trades. He's a tier 5 medium, and I'm mostly getting rid of them. Looks like he's turned his attention to someone else. Oh, Armada. Oh god, this tank's so weird. You think like, oh, I can shoot over this ridge, and you realize, no, you can't. You really can't. What's a Stuk doing? Does he want to have a tank destroyer duel? All right, bruv, we can have a tank destroyer duel. I'm a tank destroyer. You're a tank destroyer. May the best tank destroyer win. Uh-oh. Oh, he actually failed to pen me with an HE shell. I'm the best tank destroyer. There we go. We got him. Can we fight another tank destroyer? Man, these tier 4 games. Ultra Clown. Ultra Clown right now. Ultra Clown. Oh, my word. So this vehicle, I think it's actually a collector's tank now, which is one of the reasons why it's so rare. Nobody really wants to play this vehicle, so you don't see them very often on the battlefield. There's still an artillery on the enemy team. A tier 4 artillery? Who plays artillery at tier 4? I mean, we could just drop the last few sentences, or last few words off that sentence, right? Who plays artillery? I joke, I kid. Artillery players are relevant inside World of Tanks, and they're important in that World of Tanks ecosystem. Oh my lord, is the Grant going to get a kill here? Well, it won't do if the Chi-He manages to. Oh man, I'm not sure what's more surprising. The fact that I won a game in the Grant, that I did 700 damage, or that somebody actually played the Grant. That is how rare this vehicle is. Only 553 Grant battles in 30 days, meaning only 15 battles each day on the entire server actually feature a Grant. Okay, the next rarest tank at 765 games in the last 30 days is the Type 95. This is one of the lowest tier heavy tanks in the game, and I believe its predecessor, the tier 3 Japanese heavy, is the only tier 3 inside the game, which is classed as a heavy tank. Actually, I tell a lie, because there's now an FCM-2C. Oh man, what a beautiful vehicle this is in every single way. But yeah, the Type 91 is at tier 3, and then its brother, the Type 94, is one of only 4 tier 4 heavy tanks. But the Type 95, this vehicle's actually scarily good, as long as you're willing to fire some gold rounds. It has 2,000 damage per minute, and it's got 100 gold pen with 110 alpha. Again, this is a collector's tank. Collector's tanks, all these vehicles that you see are still available in the game, and you can buy them without for the A32, that was a premium tank. You'd have to catch that during some kind of rare exclusive sale. The reason why that tank is rare is because it's not for sale very often. The reason why the Grant and the Type 95 are rare is because nobody seems to want to buy them, even though they're collector's tanks and you can purchase them as soon as you've managed to get tier 4 for... Is it any nation for collector's tanks, or is it of the nation that you want to purchase? You have to let me know in the comments down below. I've had all these vehicles before they were even collector's tanks, so yeah, it's hard for me to be able to keep up with aspects of the game like that. Okay, so Type 95. Let's get ourselves forwards. We'll make our way down the eastern flank, I believe. Go and try and fight some Churchills. Although how I'm going to make 100mm of pen work against Churchills is another question altogether. This vehicle, its view range is not too bad actually, as we can see on the minimap, but without coated optics or binoculars I'm not going to be seeing very far. By far the biggest problem of this tank is that it has literally 0 armor. It can be penned by pretty much HE rounds of its tier, and is also really slow. But luckily, hopefully with Engineer on my driver, which I think will probably be even better than Brothers in Arms on this tank, combined with a turbo, we're not as slow as we used to be in this vehicle. I also think this thing has like a really good amount of gun depression as far as I can remember. Look at that, I can make my own kind of like fireworks, my own little effects. I can pretend to be like Tom Cruise, right? Do my own stunts by just shooting the ground in front of me, but probably not over this little mini turret that's there. Man, it's almost touching. That's how much Wargaming really wanted to give this as much gun depression as they possibly could. It's always annoying for me on certain vehicles where the gun doesn't actually get so close to touching the weak point. This one's very, very close. It's like a pixel away from touching that weak point. Alright, so Panzer 3J. This is a very weakly armored vehicle. My rounds are going to do some nasty things to this tank. And look at this damage per minute. Well, if I pen, look at this damage per minute though. This is absolutely monstrous. Monstrous damage per minute for tier 4. So again, if, and this is without me penetrating HE shells, if you can actually manage to penetrate the enemy tank, then a vehicle like this can actually be fairly proficient. Hello little Stuart, what's up? How are you doing? Man, this is why I don't play low tiers very much. The only time I play low tiers is when people vote for it, really, on the poll tanks. Hello, little Lago. How you doing? Gotcha. I actually bounced a shell? I'm very surprised. I'm getting this Lago, though. Absolutely trounced him. And again, this vehicle, if they don't pressure it and they don't know how to pen it, it can actually be pretty good. It can actually be pretty good. I guess the big problem is that it usually gets matched up against, like, a B1. And a B1's a very powerful tier 4 tank. So people probably just don't like this thing because it's so slow, because most people don't want to fire the occasional gold round when they can't pen with their regular rounds, and because getting matched up against a Panzer B2 740 or against a B1 is not a fun kind of experience. I'm not sure if I can even pen the B1 in the front. I probably can with 100mm of heat. Probably can. He can definitely pen me though. Where is he? He's got to be around here somewhere. Where is he? Where is that B1? He's not actually seeing me. Maybe I can... I would never recommend going up here, by the way, but I just got a funny feeling that I can get some ambushes here. Oh no, I've really exposed myself now. Or maybe I've actually caught them. Who knows? Think that Churchill will come back for me or not? The B1. I really want the B1 to expose himself a little bit more. Trying to take a look to see if I've got that Churchill's bottom. I do. I might be able to get that Churchill. That B1 looks like he's falling back. I'm not sure if the Wolverine will come after me. Big moment here. Let's do this. Here we go. Okay. One into the Churchill. He's down. B1's there. Let's go. Let's try and hunt our second ace tanker of these rare vehicles. Where's that Wolverine? Oh, no. Oh, my gunner died again. No! I just healed my crew. Obviously, one sits there and one sits there. That's disastrous. My gun handling is not going to work very well now. Whoa, that was a spicy shell by that KV-1. Just see if I can finish off this Wolverine, even with a dead gunner right now. Maybe I can. Maybe I can. Oh, this is a bit of overcommitment. Oh, why is the gun depression never getting better? No! The gun depression just didn't get any better. Was it the side turret? Nah, I think it's just that this slope was rather large. Man, good thing I've got a lot of hit points in this tank, because my armor definitely isn't doing anything of mention or worth mentioning. Is that Stuart visible? Oh, he is. With my dead gunner, I feel like I'm just wasting this heat round. Oh! CCRNG! Oh, but the Stug kills me. You know what? I'll take that. Considering that the Stug kills me, I got so lucky to be able to hit that shell. So lucky to be able to hit that shell. Absolutely disgusting. Man, these low tier games are fast, aren't they? But yeah, by starting at tier 4, I still get battle pass points. So I'm going to get a few extra little chips to be able to spend on my bonds, which would be nice. Nice shot by the Stug. This is actually a really good game for this vehicle. With that savage last kill shot, which I definitely didn't deserve, but very much appreciate. So a second class medal. Not too bad. Not great. Not terrible. I'm happy to finish second and second. It's a good result. All right, these games are so fast. You're going to get a quadruple helping of gameplay today. So I'm going to play the SARL 42. So this is a tier 4 French medium. And the SARL, I think it's very unpopular for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's a collector's tank. So you don't have to actually play it to be able to get anywhere inside the game. Secondly, because this vehicle was kind of like this additional line, this additional tech tree line that they added on that didn't really actually get anywhere. It was like a supplementary line. It was an optional line about which way should you actually progress up the tech tree. And thirdly, I think because it's just not all that good, really. It's got low damage per minute. It does have nice alpha damage. But interestingly enough, the gun that I choose to use on this tank, it doesn't have any gold rounds. It just has one set of ammunition, 106 pen, or you're firing HE. So I'm probably going to go with the 106 pen. But that also means that this vehicle will probably be very profitable indeed, because any tank that literally can't fire gold, then people aren't going to rack up those very expensive resupply costs in the post game. So is there anything to like about this vehicle? Well, it's reasonably fast. It's got itself 10 degrees of gun depression, and that's about it. Armor-wise, it's negligible. 40mm of armor, 30mm of armor. It's not angled, so it's not going to be able to bounce anything like the A32. that's it. That's all there really is to write about this vehicle. I like to use binoculars on a lot of my low tiers because quite often, as you saw in that A32 game where we got that patrol duty, having the functionality of being able to set yourself up and provide vision for your team can be instrumental in holding back some of your opponent's advances. It could also allow you to be able to deal with opponents at long range, and one of the easiest ways to be able to win in World of Tanks is to be able to spot your opponents when they can't see you. If you can do that, then how can they possibly fight back? And then after that, it comes down to the showdown, right? The showdown. But it's a lot easier to have the showdown when they can't see the show that hopefully you are putting on to deal with the enemy team. Alright, so there's a T-34 right ahead. I'm probably going to go after this T-25 around this corner. It's a tier 5 medium, so I've got to be a little bit careful. Don't really want to expose myself to the friend. Again, this is some pretty ugly trades, but you know what? If he lets me shoot him twice and he only shoots me once, it's not that bad of a trade, isn't it? What a weird looking tank this is. This looks more like a duck than the duck looks like the duck. So, oh my lord, that's a lot of tanks. What a nice little pokey gun though. Until I get hit, of course. And I'm only doing 55 damage a pop, which is not great, is it? Alright, this guy should start to shoot those guys, and that means that I have to try and shoot these guys. At least that's the goal. Oh, it can't even fully aim. Matilda's going to come around the corner in a second. Got to get safe from him. 55 damage, dude. It's like a Matilda gun, but it just doesn't really have the rate of fire to be able to make up for it. Like a 2-second reload is not ideal. Maybe I can get this guy. I have to admit, penning this guy with regular rounds right now is pretty satisfying. We're giving it a go, aren't we? Giving it a go. You know what you can actually do is knock that tree down there and then go up into that bush and stay hidden. But, well, at least until you fire. But it's too late to do that now. Too late to do that. Unless I go up. If I can show you. I'm going to lose all my health doing this just for YouTube. I should be able to stay hidden here. They're low tier. Man, look at that VK3001H behind the enemy team. The Panzer III saying they're going to assist me. And now we can get one right into the back of the T1 Heavy. But man, my alpha damage is so horrible. But at least we get a kill. That's great. Man, these games at low tier, they are going fast today. Can you imagine if I'd won that first game with that ace tanker that we lost where we got those 5 kills? It would have been delicious. So this vehicle, is it worth playing? Nah, this one's not worth playing. Of all of the vehicles that I've played today, the A32 is rare because it's never sold. But the other 3 vehicles are rare for a reason. I'd say the most playable one was probably the Type 95. I think the Type 95, as long as you're willing to fire the occasional gold round, can actually be fairly proficient. And if you were to get a good crew on that vehicle and have intuition, you might even find those HE rounds could be disgustingly efficient for being able to deal with very lightly armored tanks. So there's an M10 RBFM on the enemy team. Just trying to figure out where he is. He's probably up here and not up here, and the reason for that is that no one's really died where he could have been able to get the shots in. The BDR is crossing the bridge. The Matilda's crossing the bridge. So luckily, let's go after them and see if we can start to nail that Matilda in the back. It'll be the second Matilda we've played against. Yeah, the Matilda isn't going to be one of the rarest vehicles. Is this guy blocking me on purpose? Like, the way he drives is a little bit awkward, but we'll give him a pass. He's probably just low-tier player having fun, just playing the World of Tanks. Get myself into a position to see if I can be able to deal with this BDR. That BDR will definitely be able to deal with me if he hits me. Another shot. Do I get another kill? No, not quite. So, the SARL 42, one of the rarest tier 4 tanks, definitely one of the rarest for a reason. So, ladies and gents, boys and girls, that was the first of my new playing series where I'm going to be playing through all of the rarest tanks inside World of Tanks. So make sure you subscribe to the channel to be able to catch them all the way up the tech tree. And this could be the... Oh, sorry, dude. Sorry, dude. I'll try and help him out. Can I save him? No! Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to drive in front of him there to make up for my bad. Who dies first? Who dies first? Thank goodness. Is this game close? I should be able to make it down this slope. This should be safe. Totally safe. Safe as houses. French tanks are very good at sliding down things. 100%. Told ya. Oh, that was beautiful. Only took 28 damage. Big tip though, as you're going down slopes make sure you go down sideways. If you go down front ways, you quite often catch the front of your vehicle. Whereas if you go down sideways, your tracks absorb a lot of the punishment. So yeah. But as I was saying, my subsequent playing series, all the videos, subscribe so you can be able to catch them as they come out. I'm going to be playing through every single tier, all the way up to tier 10. So you can see maybe some hidden gems that nobody is playing. Or at least, you know, figure out how to play against these rare vehicles as they come out. So that was, what was it, 3 wins? 1 loss? Nearly a win as well in the A32. Maybe I could have done a little bit more there. Anyway, really hope you enjoy me playing live for YouTube without the benefit of cherry-picking games. If you do, make sure you give the video a thumbs up. If you hate it, give it a thumbs down. And let me know in the comments down below if you have ever played any of these ultra-rare vehicles and why do you think they are so rare? And are you going to give any of them a go? Maybe they won't be so rare for very long. Anyway, as always, hope you had a great time with the video. And hopefully I'll see you soon.